So, it's like, when I think about Star Wars, and I think back really to the entirety of the prequel trilogy, and people like to dunk on that kid, Jake Lloyd, and they like to dunk on old Hayden Christensen. But really, at the end of the day, it's not their fault that Anakin sucks.
What have I done?
The writing and the directing are terrible. And it's not the actor's fault, and both of the actors get dunked on for being such fucking terrible actors. It's just the shittiest lines. Like, I can't...
What?
General Grievous. You're shorter than I expected.
And each time it's like somebody farting into a fucking bucket.
Oh shit, farting on my roommate's door, ha.
And you know what? You know what? The close second is Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is fucking... Ewan McGregor's awesome as Obi-Wan. The lines are fucking terrible. Whoever wrote the dialogue for those two characters was just like, haha, let's make them stupid. Just the worst things anybody's ever put to pen, aside from a Stephen King book. It's just fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible is what it is. It ruins the movies. It's like, oh, you can dunk on Jar Jar all you want. It's like, Jar Jar sucked. Jar Jar could have been great if they'd have made him a fucking traitor evil character. You'd be like, oh, that son of a bitch. And then he would have been like one of the classic baddies. That would have been awesome. But instead, they, let's make him stupid! He's Baby Huey. He's Jamaican Baby Huey. Great. Except he's not fat or a duck. So that's awesome. He's a bunny frog. Even worse. But all three of those movies pretty much suck balls. And it's really just...
You are in my very soul, tormenting me.
That and the aesthetic. And that's bullshit too. It's like the droids all look good. They look like they should be in Star Wars. That's fine. Nothing else does. Like none of the other ships. None of that shit looks like Star Wars. It's like, oh, later on. Oh, later on. Wow. Later on they do, but even then they don't. It's like, oh, it looks like a clean version. It's like, think about how, like, the Millennium Falcon is, and it's like a greasy old truck. It's like people could relate to that. Think about our parents. They didn't have your fucking Xbox and internet. They were out dicking around in the garage, building hot rods and shit. So, and it's all that shit was just much more relatable. And then not having that, and maybe that's, part of it. It's just like, oh, we don't have that now, and so they got rid of it. But I think that oily, greasy, fucking, they are flying around in, bootlegger hot rods. That's that aesthetic. They lost something. They lost something there. And it's like, okay, yeah, cool, I like the chrome. Have the one chrome ship that's super sleek. That's awesome. Like, oh, it makes sense to have that. And it'd be like, oh, very hard to see, how are you gonna see that in the depths of space? It's just reflecting everything around it. But every other ship to be like super sleek and ridiculous looking, it's like, fuck off with that. Shit sucks cock.